green tea. It is one of the oldest and most widely consumed teas in the world, with its origins tracing back thousands of years to China. What sets green tea apart from other varieties is how it is processed. The leaves are picked and then quickly heated, either by steaming or pan-firing, to stop oxidation before it can begin. This preserves the natural green color of the leaf and keeps a fresh, grassy flavor intact. Japan and China both have deep traditions around green tea, though the two countries produce it quite differently. Japanese green teas tend to be steamed, giving them a more vegetal and smooth taste, while Chinese versions are usually pan-fired, resulting in a slightly nuttier, more toasty cup. Black tea. Of all the tea types, black tea goes through the most complete transformation from leaf to cup. After picking, the leaves are fully oxidized, a process that turns them dark brown and dramatically changes their flavor. The result is a bold, robust tea with a depth that can range from malty and rich to slightly smoky, depending on where it was grown and how it was processed. Assam from India, Darjeeling from the foothills of the Himalayas, and Ceylon from Sri Lanka are among the most celebrated black teas in the world, each carrying a distinct character shaped by its soil and climate. Black tea also holds up well to milk and sugar, which is why it became the foundation of everyday tea culture across Britain, India, and much of the world. Oolong tea. Oolong sits in the space between green and black tea, partially oxidized to varying degrees depending on the producer's intention. Some oolongs are oxidized just slightly, sitting closer to green tea with a light floral quality. Others are oxidized much more heavily and carry the warmth and depth closer to black tea. This wide spectrum is what makes oolong one of the most complex and layered categories in the tea world. It is most closely associated with the Fujian province of China and the high mountain regions of Taiwan, where skilled producers carefully control the oxidation to achieve a specific flavor profile. A well-made oolong can unfold across multiple infusions. White tea. White tea is the least processed of all true teas, made from the youngest and most delicate parts of the tea plant, typically the unopened buds and the newest leaves. The leaves are simply picked and allowed to dry naturally with minimal interference. The flavor that results is extraordinarily gentle, often described as soft, slightly sweet, and faintly floral, with almost no bitterness. Fujian province in China is the historical home of white tea, and varieties like Silver Needle, made entirely from buds, and White Peony, which includes both buds and young leaves, are considered the most refined expressions of this style. Because of its delicate nature, white tea is best brewed with water that is not fully boiling, as high heat can overwhelm its Pu-erh tea. Pu-erh is unlike any other category of tea in that it is deliberately aged and fermented, sometimes for years or even decades. It comes from the Yunnan province of China and has been produced there for centuries, originally traded along ancient routes through Southeast Asia and Tibet. The fermentation process gives Pu-erh an earthy, deep, sometimes musty quality that is unlike anything else in the tea world. It divides people. Some find it an acquired taste, others become devoted to its complex and evolving character. Pu-erh can be purchased in compressed forms, pressed into cakes or bricks, and older aged versions are treated like fine wine, with prices rising significantly as the tea matures. Drinking a well-aged Pu-erh chai. Chai is a spiced tea preparation that originated in the Indian subcontinent and has become one of the most recognizable tea-based drinks in the world. At its core, chai is black tea brewed together with a blend of aromatic spices, typically ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, and black pepper, and then simmered with milk and sweetened with sugar. The exact recipe varies enormously from household to household and region to region across India, meaning there is no single definitive version. What remains consistent is the warmth and complexity of the spice blend, combined with the richness of milky black tea. In India, chai is not just a drink, but a daily ritual, sold by chaiwalas at roadside stalls. Matcha. Matcha is a powdered green tea that originated in China before becoming deeply embedded in Japanese culture and ceremony. What makes matcha different from ordinary green tea is how the tea plants are grown and prepared. Weeks before harvest, the plants are shaded from direct sunlight, which causes them to produce more chlorophyll and develop a more intense flavor. After picking, the leaves are dried and ground into an extremely fine powder. Rather than steeping and discarding the leaves, matcha involves consuming the entire leaf in powdered form, dissolved in hot water. This gives it a much higher concentration of flavor and nutrients compared to steeped green tea. The Japanese tea ceremony built its practice around matcha, elevating the preparation. Jasmine tea. Jasmine tea is made by scenting tea leaves, most often green tea, though sometimes white or oolong, with fresh jasmine blossoms. The process is labor-intensive and done repeatedly over several nights. Fresh jasmine flowers are layered with the tea leaves during the evening when the flowers are open and releasing their fragrance. The next morning, the spent flowers are removed, and the process is repeated multiple times until the tea has fully absorbed the jasmine scent. The result is a tea that carries the natural perfume of jasmine without any artificial additives. It has been produced in China for centuries and remains one of the most popular and widely loved teas, both in China and internationally, appreciated for the way its floral character softens and lifts the underlying tea. Earl Grey. Earl Grey is a flavored black tea distinguished by the addition of bergamot oil, extracted from the rind of the bergamot orange, a citrus fruit grown primarily in southern Italy. The combination of bold black tea and the bright, slightly floral citrus note of bergamot creates a flavor that is immediately recognizable and has made Earl Grey one of the most famous blended teas in the world. The name comes from Charles Grey, a British Prime Minister in the 1830s, though the exact story of how his name became attached to this particular blend has several competing versions. Earl Grey is typically enjoyed without milk, allowing the bergamot aroma to come through clearly, though a splash of milk is not uncommon depending on personal preference. Rooibos tea. Rooibos comes exclusively from a small shrubby plant called Aspalathus linearis, which grows only in the Cederberg region of South Africa. The leaves and stems of this plant are harvested, bruised, and left to ferment and dry in the sun, turning them from green to the distinctive reddish-brown color that gives Rooibos its name, which means red bush in Afrikaans. The flavor is naturally sweet and slightly earthy, with a smoothness that contains no bitterness and no caffeine. Indigenous communities in the region had used the plant for generations before it began to be commercially produced in the early 20th century. Today, Rooibos is exported globally and enjoyed both as a straight brew and as a base for blended herbal infusions, often paired with vanilla, honey, or citrus. From green to Rooibos, every tea on this list comes from a different corner of the world. Which one have you tried, and which one are you still waiting to taste? Tell us in the comments, and let us know which country you are watching from.